Shalom, this is your Ark. Yah is magnified, and I'm coming back with another informative video. I titled this video, Stop It Before It Start, Part 2, Testimony. But before I tackle this subject, as always, I must state for the record, I'm not a lawyer, I do not practice law, and I do not pretend to. All my videos are for informational and educational purposes only, the raw facts and all truth, nothing more, nothing less. So with that being said, let's get to it. Okay, so I have my Ark on the phone. He's going to give his testimony today of what has taken place in this case again, but this time it happened in another state. So you ready, Ark?
I'm ready.
All right, the floor is yours.
All right. Well, first and foremost, I just want to give praises to the All High, Almighty, because this process has been again another eye opener for me. Just seeing how some people in certain departments in the courtrooms and the justice department they act like they have proximity to power, but they look foolish at the end. So with that being said, I also want to say, again, before I start, I appreciate you guys magnified because you're doing good work for people that may be in distress or people that are willing to do the right thing and looking to get remedy for all the right reasons. So I want to start off with saying that from Stopping Before It Starts, Part 1, I spoke a lot about Georgia and East Point being a city and Fulton County being another city that I had dealings with these legalities, and how the child of my the mother of my supposed child wanted to go out and look for some assistance from child support, and how they did a lot of things that were illegal if you were to talk about legalities. They did a lot from spelling names wrong, forging signatures, proceeding with monies that should not have been exchanged amongst each other to see that they get any type of money or any type of benefits from my legal person. But that thing got handled in the months and the days that it did happen. I also spoke about people playing left field or acting like they don't know what's going on when I'm speaking clear English and giving me the runaround. One person even stated that if I'm looking for a certain person, I should go look up on the roof next to a helipad. I might find who I'm looking for,
Right.
which I thought was like one of the craziest things I heard about this whole ordeal until I got more in depth with people in Ohio. So I'm not sure where we start at, but basically let's go for October 8th, 2020. The Court of Common Pleas in Lucas County, they said that they had a hearing date October 8th, and the parties that may be involved, they had it X'd on the paperwork, and the complaint was that they're looking for allocations of PRR. I had to do some homework before reaching out to the good brother, and even after speaking to him, I had to go do some more research about what this is that they're doing, because if you pay attention to the top of the page underneath, in the matter of, they got a case number there. For what I learned from the employees and the staff, when there's no SETS number, SETS number, that means there's no child support enforcement involved. And they said that they filed this, a clerk filed this on October 8th.
Right.
So underneath that it says, this is an order because the father was duly served but did not appear. The matter was set for trial. Father is on notice that the court will proceed in his absence at the next hearing, November 4th, 2020 at 8:30 a.m. Now, the crazy thing about this order is, I talked to y'all as Magnified, and I asked them, man, I got reached out to by the alleged mother of my child, and she said she wanted to talk things over. I asked them, way before I even got to Stop It Before It Starts, Part 1, I asked him, would this be the right thing? Because once again, I said, he's doing the good work for the people that are willing to be in their kids' life, the ones that are willing to, right any type of, messy wrongs that may be out there. So, he asked me real pertinent questions, and it gave me a decision to not go meet with her. And what I found out after making the decision not to go meet with her, she complained about COVID being the reason that she was able to fly out from Ohio and get to Georgia, but she didn't have the child with her that she told me she had with her all along. So it's a lot of trickery going on, even with the mother at this point. So that kind of pretty much added extra fire underneath my feet to go march in the court, say my piece, stand on my 10, and come out of there with a victory. I was not going to accept anything less. I get to the courtroom after that, and there's no court. I'm the only person there, no judge, no one, just a lady that's working there telling us that that particular courtroom is closed, and if you don't have an ongoing case, you're not to go in there because there's nothing in there. I can see through the door that no one was in there, not even a bailiff. All right. Going back into this paper that we're looking at, down there at the magistrate, you can barely read that, but you see that date. It says October 8th, 2020.
Right.
And I did my homework again, like I said, because I needed to figure out what all these different acronyms were for. Even on my cover letter, it said it was a change of CU. And it kind of dawned on me when I'm looking at the word change. I don't even know about the CU, but how can you change something that wasn't established? That's what I'm thinking about. These people in Ohio, it's like they was, or whoever was working with this woman, it's like they were going to proceed as if there was something that had already started. She's already having her way in Georgia, and now they're gonna go in Ohio and try to railroad me the same type of way. So I reached out to the good brother, showed him this paperwork, and he asked me more pertinent questions. And the first thing he told me was, well, in the business aspect, we got a jurisdiction problem off muscle, because if you haven't been in a certain place doing certain things, then this is basically void. Like we can't do nothing with this paperwork. So let's go ahead and get our paperwork together and do a follow chain of commands and get that sent to them immediately, because the games that were played also with my address on the mailing, they had my mailing wrong. But since I have things set up to where I'm receiving anything that got the legal person set up or sent with my legal person on there, I'm getting all that information. I don't care if it's even something promotional, I'm getting it. So
right.
to be real, but to be real discreet about how they tried to go about with the misinformation, even with sending me this letter, they hoped that it didn't reach me because they was trying to send this paperwork to DSW. Now, I don't know if they got a DSW in Virginia, California, anywhere in New York, but DSW down here in Georgia is a suit warehouse.
Yeah, I know they. Yeah. They sell clothes and shoes.
Yeah, so it's a clothing store, dog. You know what I mean? Like, it's just funny, man. Just opening my eyes to see how they play, man.
Right. Yeah, they very tricky.
Right. Yeah, they real tricky, man. It's a lot of mischief. So now I'm going to the part where we send off the paperwork, but I had an issue sending off my paperwork. I didn't get it notarized, and I was speaking to the young ladies in the office at Lucas County in Ohio, and they had no problem answering my questions, but when I faxed over some paperwork with it being notarized, I stopped getting answers.
Right.
Not only did I stop getting answers, I actually got my number blocked. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like it's a conspiracy, but if I'm calling the number and it's introducing whom it is that I'm getting ready to speak to, and they're asking me to push buttons to speak to a certain department or a person, that system stops and repeat itself 6 different times. I mean, like, I bugged these people after I knew I did what I was supposed to do the right way, and I realized what was going on. So I spoke on part 1 of Stop It Before It Starts about how my lady is real receptive to this whole situation and how her eyes are now open to it and how she's been very instrumental and supportive in this. So she said, you know what? Give me the case number. Give me the oh, I'm sorry, I forgot you don't have a set number. Give me everybody's names that is involved, and I'm going to check this out for you myself. I said, all right, okay, babe, do your thing. She checks, she calls on her first try. They pick up the phone, man.
Oh yeah.
Not only did they pick up the phone for her, when they found out she was calling, they thought that she was the mother on the case. So they was just, they open their arms, you know what I'm saying, sheltering the arms. They're like, hey, they're like, they almost were glad that she was calling because, I had been, bugging them from opening hours to closing hours. You know what I mean? But the lady asked, and she was telling them all of this information about the plaintiff and the joiner, but they never spoke on the definitive error. And then she corrected them on the phone and said, hey, I'm calling on the behalf of the definitive error, X, Y, and Z, da, 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 da. And she said it got like a real awkward silence on the phone. And, they gave up that information and said, yeah, we have that document. That reluctantly she wanted to say that, but, she gave up the fact that they got that paperwork with that notary on there. So that's just another example of the trickery, man, of how these things have been playing out for me in this part to a topic before it starts. So I'm not really confident in the fact, I'm not going to lie to you, I wasn't really confident in the fact that I sent more than one set of my paperwork, one with a notary, one without it being notarized. So I prayed to the Most High that this thing got seen through for the knowledge, understanding, wisdom, the correct wisdom, that it'll come through. So what you guys may see on the screen right now is my prayers being answered. Now, on this paper right here, this one says that it was filed, with the clerk's office on November 6th in Lucas County. This is a date of hearing that says November 4th, heard by the person that was heard by. The type of hearing that it is a parent's complaint to establish A, P, R, and R. But on the other paper, it only said A, R, or something like that. But anyway, so the parties present, they said that the mother was there. They said that I wasn't there because you can see it's not X'd out. And then the other one, it says another person was present. Now, this paper, it says a lot of things, but I'm going to keep it in the simplest forms. It's basically saying that, we hear that the father was served but failed to appear. The mother testified that the father had no involvement in the child since the during of the pregnancy. The mother solely is responsible for the care of the child. The mother is currently providing all of the child's needs. Mother has good, stable employment and able to meet child's needs. Father has not provided physical, emotional, or financial support. Mother has initiated child support in Georgia, where the father lives. Now, if anybody's been following y'all's magnified, from the understanding that I got, correct me when I'm wrong, child support is another section, like it's another form of Section 8, right?
Correct.
Now, the part where I think, after I got off the phone with you before we did this testimony, she really put her foot in her own mouth when I really think about it, because you showed on here that you good, you got a good, relationship with the child, and you got some support. But after getting this correct understanding, it's showing that you're good, and one of those requirements in Section 8 is you got to be struggling, and you can't have a man present, let alone have the man present living in your house. And that's just some type of way of me having to understand, what it is that she's trying to do and how it just looks foolish, because once again, the guys that are helping her, this child support enforcement agency, they tried to hide that they're actually involved in this case, because the way I'm looking at how this stuff is set up, man, these testimonies, how all this stuff is well put together in a chronological order, there's no way that she had done this solely by herself, or even with the support of whoever this is down there. That's a party that was present for that hearing.
Right. And also, when you look at it, when it states that the father wasn't there, the father has no involvement, that clearly this did what? That this established the parent-child relationship. So by them saying that you was never around since the child was born, there is no parent-child relationship, and if there is no parent-child relationship, then there is no support due.
Yeah, right. That's a good point, and I didn't think about that because, like I said in the first beginning, like they wanted to railroad me as if like this was an ongoing thing in Georgia. It's not ongoing. They have failed to even get that much of a relationship. You haven't even done your diligence. You know what I'm saying? Your due diligence. There's no what's the first hearing when you have to do the acknowledgement of paternity, having to do the DNA strands and all that extra stuff. We didn't even get that far out because once again, the title of this is stopping before it starts.
Right.
Now, yeah. So I guess I'm gonna go to the next one. Well, the decision at the bottom it says. Hold on, where am I at? After Georgia, where the father lives, it says as to the initial determination of allocation of parental rights and relative visitation by the preponderance of the evidence of the court as addressed statute 12. Yeah, so like they're saying a lot of nothing down here, but the decision is what matters. It says it's in the best interest of the child or children that the mother X, Y, and Z has the legal and parent custody of the child, and this is effective as of November 4th.
Right. Correct.
Now, outside of go ahead.
No, I'm saying I said yeah, that's right.
Yeah, okay. Now outside of reading that, I spoke to the mother of the supposed child, or however we want to label her, title her. I told this person, if we don't do this the right way and we let these people get involved in what we have going on, and we can't come to a good understanding, those $25 that you thought was going to have you having your way is going to turn into these people giving you not so okay advice. It's not going to always be righteous. It's not going to always be what you have sought out to do, because for someone that wants me to be involved, let alone, be there for the monetary gain from me, you just basically put it out there on this paper right here. On this paper, it says I can't even be involved. I don't even have human rights to the seed at this point.
Exactly. Yeah. According to them.
A lot of countries. Yeah.
Yep. According to them. So that's why when you go to the next page, right? Let's go to the next page real quick, since you're on that topic. And the first X, and the first X that says by law, then it says LCCSEA is a party to this matter. So that's basically stating that Lucas County is a party to this matter, right? So if Lucas County is a party in this matter, then how come there is no child support obligation?
Or how is it that you're not checked on the front of this page as other?
Exactly. You see?
Yeah, man. I told Yaz Magnified, bro. Like, I didn't tell him this part, but I've gone to college. I got my degrees. You know what I mean? I'm not just out here slumming. I've read some of the craziest novels. I've been through some of the most intense courses, but bro, I'm reading this paper, dog, and I cannot understand it for the life of me. Like, it's English on here, but I don't understand what it's saying.
That's because we know they speak in legalese according to the legal society that they believe that we all are a part of.
So that's why I let these people know I'm a man. I'm not a business. Maybe a business could read this, but not me, dog. I can't. But down here where it says payee obligee shall be made a party to the child support case, and is required to notify the court and the LCCSEA of any further changes of address. Now, as you can see, nothing down here is checked or marked. You just see this big bold sentence down here, and you got mother, date of birth, social security number, father, date of birth, social security number, shall pay statutory minimum of $80 per month plus 2% preceding charges commencing nothing. So from what I was taught, in math, nothing from nothing means nothing. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing.
Correct.
She went down there with the paperwork that I put into the courts. And another thing they won't do is acknowledge the fact that I did what was right behind the scenes, because this is the show right here. This is where the controversy takes place. This is where the statements versus the questions happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, if I go in there claiming, making claims, putting it out there, making statements, then I'm a part of the show. There's no controversy. There's no case. You know what I mean?
It's just that simple.
They use this woman's words against her. For the ones that's trying to still put it together, everything that she put in there in that detail and those chronological orders, it's basically saying, "Hey, I tried in Georgia, it didn't work. I'm coming to Ohio to do the same thing, hoping that this works." And on the way to me making sure that this works and hoping that this works, I just want to let y'all know I do a good job by my child. I mean good by my child, and I'm actually a supportive and independent woman. And I'm doing this with my child, and I got support here also to, give testimony on that.
Right. Exactly. And then she also, and not only that, she also stated that you don't know the child. You never been in the child's life from the beginning. So that already does what? Again, it disestablishes the parent-child relationship.
You're not establishing it, man. Jesus, bro. and this is the part where, I had to call my man, y'all's magnified. I was like, bro, like, I'm reading this. It's like, I don't know. It's like watching an action movie, bro, on paper. I'm reading it, and I'm like, oh, man, I could just picture the case. Like, I could just picture the hearing. Like, I could see it. It's on paper. This is nasty, bro.
Yeah, I told you.
Like, ain't no money up there, check.
Exactly.
Nothing.
I told you, once your eyes are open, they can never be closed again. So when people see regular writing, you see exactly what it says. They see something different, but you see exactly what it states. Even at the last check on the bottom of the page, right, where it says, "Father shall have no contact with the minor child until further order of the court." You see that?
Exactly.
So that
one sentence.
Right. That clearly tells you you don't have any support. You can't even have contact with the child. The child's mom stated that you don't know the child, automatically disestablishing paternity and or disestablishing the parent-child relationship, further letting you go scot-free because she don't know what she's doing or what she's saying, and the court is using her testimony against her because the court know that they can't move forward because what you filed into the court. So now they're just saying, well, it's best that he stay away from the minor child since we can't collect support from him.
Right. They got 6 lines down there to just brutally mutilate me down there. Hey, you got to, you better not, you have to, you should, you will, you shall. Like that word shall, man, you shall. There's no shall, nothing but I shall have no contact with my child or alleged child or who even knows if a child exists, man? Like, who knows? All this stuff is in capital words, capital letters, but I can't read this.
Exactly.
This is nothing to me, bro. Like, it's nothing.
Right. It's hard to understand. According to you, you tell them, I don't understand this. I mean,
Man.
Only thing I gotta do is tell the court is all this is written in legalese. I don't understand this.
Yeah.
I'm not a part of the legal society, which you claiming that I'm to be. And also, I had put the last page with the envelope that you sent me with the judges with the magistrate's signature on it for November 4th.
And then and the part on this one that kills me, man. Like I said to y'all's magnified before we even did a testimony a few days ago. The first 2 words, the first 3 words killed me. It says if you are.
Right.
You know what I mean? For something to be so derogatory in a blank statement, it says if you are, bro. Like, if you are, what you mean if? If?
Right.
Okay. All right, man.
So by you reading that clearly states that one must have done what to order to become on child support.
One more time.
I said by you reading that, those 3 words clearly let you know only for one to come on child support, they must have did what?
They had to establish some type of paternity, right?
Establish paternity, but in order for them to establish paternity, that man or that father had to do what?
Oh, he had to show up and make a statement, make a claim.
He had to show up, make a statement, but even if he showed up and made a statement, it took him to do one thing in order for them to proceed forward.
Oh, yeah, give jurisdiction. Give that jurisdiction. That's how it all started.
Give jurisdiction. He gave jurisdiction by what? I want you to say one word. It starts with a C.
Oh, consent? Is that what you said?
Yep, consent. It all starts with consent.
Giving consent.
Yeah.
And the paperwork that we put in was basically letting them know that there is no consent, and there sure is not no jurisdiction. I ain't never seen a tree in Ohio before. I ain't never flew over Ohio, so
that means what? The long arm statute do not apply.
It don't apply.
You see, basically stating that you must do business in the state in order for the state to have jurisdiction over you. But if you was to go over and into that court here, and that's why I told you, you're not even in that state. Don't show up. Just send your paperwork. Let it ride. You know, you're not in that state, so the long arm statute do not apply. The child wasn't conceived in that state, so the long arm statute don't apply. So it has nothing to do with you, unless you go over there and do what? Add to the controversy, argue the facts. Next thing you know, you're involved.
Right, man. My lady, she was listening. She was listening to the first testimony, and then seeing how all this paperwork just came out of wherever it came from. She's like, you know what? He's just a little too kind of mellow about this whole thing. Meanwhile, I'm over here frantic about it. I said, babe, obviously, we got more studying and research and wisdom and understanding that we need to get, because he sees and he understands something that we're just not getting yet. And then when I just kept reading the paper and reading it over and over and over, I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. All right, well, babe, check this out. First of all, just started to break it down to her. Then she's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But did we win? I'm like, babe, listen, they won't never admit it. They can't.
Right.
They're just putting restrictions on this whole thing by saying no contact with the child. Like, man, it's crazy, man. It's crazy, bro.
Right. But the child has nothing to do with your seed. So.
Yeah. Right.
You see what I mean?
Not that person, not these people. Nah.
Exactly. It's a complete difference once you know the difference between the two. So basically, what they're saying is no contact with our property.
Right.
But yeah. So after you got this order, did you ever hear back from your child's mom?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I just texted last night. Nothing yet.
Oh, okay. So she ain't never respond back to you.
Never responded back to me.
Oh, yeah, she probably.
The last thing that happened before I got this paperwork, I called. Once again, still trying to make everything right, because I told you it was her talking real nice to me at first, and then I guess they hit her with another meeting of the minds and was like, hey, listen, we probably got him where we want him right now, because in Ohio X, Y, and Z, da 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 da. So when I called her after she did her meeting of the minds with those people or that company, when she picked up the phone, man, she had a different tone. Once again, back to the disrespect. Weird antics like hanging up the phone, calling right back to start up a conversation, knowing that I'm being recorded. I know I'm being recorded, but you know what I'm saying? God got me, man.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the last time I heard from her before I even got this paperwork.
But how you feeling over there on that side though?
Hey, I ain't got no shackles on me, man. I'm like a free man, bro. Like a free man. I feel like a real humble, eye-open man, bro. That's how I feel. I feel very grateful. I feel like a grateful man, bro. Feel good.
That's it. That's all, brother. Do you have any advice to give the brothers out there before you go?
Keep fighting, bro. Just figure it out, man. Not figure it out because it's difficult to figure it out. Figure out the fight. Figure out what fight they're giving you, and figure out that right there, man. Figure out if you want to continue to be a business or a man. You know what I mean? Even dealing with the day-to-day citations, traffic tickets, parking tickets, or contracts, because that's how these things are, man.
Oh yeah.
Remember,
Go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
No, I was just about to say, just understanding that feeling in your stomach or that feeling in your mind when you realize hey, I did not consent to this. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this is not right. Anytime you feel like it ain't right and you don't feel like this is something you willing to put up with, just go for it, bro. Fight. You got to.
Exactly. Not only that, man, you done it in two separate states. You did it in Georgia first, then you did it in Ohio.
Yes, sir.
So that so
Yes, I
that's
did.
that I tell everybody, you need two witnesses. You just provided two witnesses out of your own self. No, matter of fact, you got three witnesses. Cause tell them what happened with your driving license that you that ticket, that speeding ticket they gave you.
Oh yeah. So this testimony for anybody that's in Georgia or in Atlanta, and being black in Cobb County, that's a that's a fight that's down here in the superficial because it's a bigger fight out there. But that day-to-day thing, I'm out there, and the police officer, he pulls me over, and I told you guys I'd give y'all some type of testimony about that when I figured it out. This is me figuring it out. The paperwork, they're still playing games on that end right there also. So we don't have that paperwork for you, unfortunately. But here goes the good news. I get pulled over. The police officer hops out the car. He walks up. Hey man, I stopped you because I got you at an unclocked 60 in a 45. I'm frustrated. I'm upset. I got business to attend to. Because truth be told, I was working this day. I was getting the money. I did not acknowledge him as a person. I didn't even acknowledge him at all. I just looked at him. I just listened to him talk. He looked at me. He asked for my ID. I didn't need to say nothing to him. I already had the ID laid out on the dashboard. Like I said, I was at work. I was in the truck. This truck had a long dashboard, so you could leave your stuff up there to where he could just grab it. He grabs the paperwork that don't belong to us, that is not mine. It's for the state. So he goes back to his car. He do his little write-up. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, if I didn't give him no mouth, if I didn't give him no acknowledgement, maybe I get a warning. Nah, he come back with the ticket. Cool. So when he come back with the ticket, he get ready to hand me the ticket. Now, I never heard this before. He's like, hey man, I just need to know a reason, that you were speeding. You got anything to say? Like, and I need like a emergency contact for you, man. Something, man. Just give me something. I never heard that before from a police officer. It's like he's begging for me to give him jurisdiction over whatever it is he's trying to get jurisdiction over. But I'm a man at the end of the day, so I don't answer to nobody. I let the king do it. So I asked King when I get ready to get to the courtroom. So he said, man, what's the problem? Like, you deaf? You a mute or something? I said, I don't answer questions. Then he said, oh, okay. Thank you for that information. He put his pen back in his pocket and he just threw the citation or this contract. He threw the contract in the truck and he went on by his business. So with that understanding right there, I knew that, when I went to court, even for the record, whatever this supposedly magistrate or supposedly judge was going to bring to me, he or she was not going to have any type of proof that I said anything or I put myself in own guilt. So when I got to the courtroom, they didn't call people alphabetically. They called us by the order that we came in. COVID, what is it? Heat test or whatever. Put the thing on our forehead. Say, okay, you good. So on the fourth person, turned on my recorder, and then I sent that to y'all. But it's like kind of that's magnified, but it's kind of like kind of iffy because there's a lot of static around the audio. But they called my legal person. I go up there, say, I'm smiling. Hey, good morning. She said, hey, how do you plead today? And I let her know, I believe there's a mistake. And I started speaking, the right way. I started talking the right way. And when I said what I said, she kind of hesitated and paused. She looked in the courtroom at the bailiff. She looked at the prosecutors. She was like, oh, okay, that's fine and all, but how do you plead today? And I repeated my same question. She said, well, if you're claiming that you're not in the courtroom today or this legal person is not in the courtroom today, we're going to have to, how did she say it? I think how she said it. She said that we're going to have to motion for like a failure to appear. I said, failure to appear? She said, yes, if you're not claiming to be in the courtroom. I said, well, who made a claim to this? He said the name out, clear as day, even with the middle name, the legal name, with the middle name. She said, if this person is not in this courtroom, that's a failure to appear. And I asked the question again. If that's a failure to appear, then who's the claimant? Who's making this claim? She said, you know what? You can just go have a seat over there. Now, when she said over there, if you're walking up towards the judge, to the right is where everybody made deals at. No-los and guilties. To the left is where the contempt is. So I went to the right. And I went to go sit down with the guys that made a deal because I'm not walking to the left. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. It's not my debt. It's not mine.
Right.
And like I ready to sit down, the bailiff walks up to me. He said, hey, you can't sit right here. You got to go back to the seat that you was in. I said, okay. I looked at where I was sitting at. It was a bench. It wasn't, it wasn't no one over there that would have made me feel like, oh, this person is getting ready to go to jail. So I went back where I sat at. And when I sat down, he called the next person. I just say, Miss Johnson, you come next, X, Y, and Z. Everybody is like mumbling, in the mumbling in the courtroom because they're trying to figure out what just happened because she just sent me away. And the bailiff is excusing me back to the chair that I was sitting in. So as I go sit down, my adrenaline is a little rushing because I'm thinking to myself like, damn, I studied, but obviously I didn't study hard enough because I missed the point. I was supposed to got this honorably handled. I was supposed to ask for her to handle this with honor, and go ahead and fix this issue, fix this mistake, because there is a mistake while I'm in this courtroom today. So as I'm sitting there thinking about that, the fellow comes up to me. He got his mask on. And his mask, I'll never forget the mask. The mask had like a little weird neon donut on it or something like that. He said, hey, you're good to go. We're going to bond it to the state. And he says it real fast. And I'm like, excuse me? He said, you're good. You can go. You can leave. We're going to bond this to the state. I said, okay, that's fine. But can I speak to the prosecutors? He said, the prosecutor? Our prosecutors? I said, yes. Can I speak to a prosecutor before I leave? He said, oh, no, you're not going to speak to none of our prosecutors. You can go. So I was like, okay. Grabbed my book bag. And as I stood up, he got closer. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm about to get escorted out the courtroom. And he walked me all the way back out to the front of the building so I was outside of the courtroom. And then also, after all this happened, being weird or whatever, something that just didn't sit right with me after all of it happened because I told you I felt like I didn't do enough, or I felt like I missed a step. So I requested some documents from that particular court in Cobb County. Guys that's in Georgia or in Atlanta, y'all know how small that city is, but y'all know how big that city is, but y'all know how small that municipal court is. So when I looked up that information, they said that you got to put in the request key and you got to do all this informational search just to get your open records about what happened with that citation or that contract, I might say. When I looked up to see what happened with that contract and what the final ruling was, it was so blurry. And you're my testimony on this, like you're my witness to this. Like we couldn't even read it. Right. But what I did see, what I could pay attention to, was the fact that where all the damage was supposed to be done to the legal person, there was no money down there. Once again, just like this paperwork that I showed with you guys with this Ohio situation, there's no penalties, there's no violation, ain't nobody violating my legal person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's my testimony on a different type of fight right there, man.
So once you learn it, it's like you can do it for everything, right?
Yeah, you can, bro. A debt is a debt, man. A debt is a debt. My lady, she told me yesterday some new information. She said if with her ticket that she got in Virginia, being a traveler, and I mean traveler, being a legit traveler, if she had not showed up to that courtroom, they would have issued a suspension on her, a license for Virginia, and then after she not, get caught, I guess, or whatever in Virginia, they send her ticket to the collection department. Virginia, if you go over a certain amount of speed limits in Georgia, I'm sorry, in Virginia, you're considered a criminal. But they told her crime would just go to the collection department.
Yeah, because
I
it's
guess a debt is a debt, bro.
it's just a civil debt. That's it. It's a civil debt.
A debt is a
It's
debt,
no different
man.
than any other civil debt. So is child support. It's no different than any other civil debt. Despite all
A
this,
debt is
it
a
don't
debt.
apply to the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. But in fact, it does. Because if it doesn't, there's no way they can put it on your credit report. So I don't know,
Yeah.
the games they try to play and try to mislead the people to believe. But we know what to do and how to do it when that time comes. But I really like to thank you, man, for coming on and giving your second testimony. This time for Ohio. First time was for Georgia. So and you gave another testimony as well about the your driving speeding ticket. So again, I
Yeah.
really appreciate that. You got any last words you would like to say to the brothers before you go?
Hey, man, y'all boys stay prayed up, man, and just keep fighting. That's all I can say. Like, look out, look out, and look out for look out for not the inception or the swindles, man. Like, look out for the understanding, bro. Like, try to find the understanding of it all. You got a question, and you already done established some type of relationship where y'all is magnified. Be good people, bro. Like, this man responding, he responding quicker than I'm even thinking right now. Like, you really own it, y'all is magnified, bro. I appreciate you, bro.
Oh, you're
That's all I
welcome.
got to say, man.
You're welcome, Mark. You're welcome. Again, thanks for doing the testimony. So that's all I'm gonna do for today. If you all need my help, hit me up in my email at yahismagnified@gmail.com. Let's get this right wisdom, this right knowledge, and this right understanding. With that being said, I
Right.
say shalom, my op.
Shalom, huh?
All right, peace.